Mawkzy versus Ashllxyy. It's England versus France. We've only ever casted one Mawkzy 1v1 before. It was versus Drally. He lost it 3-2. It was very close. But of course that was a debut, so we might be seeing something completely different from him today. And interestingly, we have also seen Ashllxyy play against Drally. So this is a chance to see both of Drally's recent opponents matching up against each other, seeing if the result is going to go the expected way. And the way I do expect the result to go is in Ashllxyy's favor. Hard to bet against him when he took down Drally recently. Ashllxyy in the blue, Mawkzy in the orange. I keep having to make sure that I don't say Mawkzy. I didn't have this problem last time that I casted Mawkzy, but for some reason this time I keep thinking Mawkzy in my head every time I try and say Mawkzy. But yeah, if this is your first time seeing Mawkzy, I've casted him once before. He is a very high level ones player. I believe he's currently either top 10 in ones or he's very close to top 10 in ones in the rank ladder. And he has been top 10 for most of the season, you know, there or thereabouts. And he's a very interesting player. He wave dashes, I think, as much, if not more, than anyone I've ever seen for recoveries. Oh, that's beautiful by Ashllxyy. Oh, he's gone for a second reset as well. Why not? That's an open net, and he didn't need to do this. He could have just floor pitched it, but he thinks, yeah, let's just go for another flip reset on the open net. That's crazy. Oh, I wish I had that kind of confidence with my open nets. Unreal start to the series. And Ashllxyy, for anyone who has seen him play, really won't need any introduction. What a memorable player he is. But since it is a while since I told his backstory, I will one more time for anyone who's new to him as a gamer in the Rocket League scene. Ashllxyy is a one-handed wonder kid. He plays Rocket League with one hand. So he was born with one hand. He didn't let that stop him from becoming one of the best players in the world. And he holds his controller kind of like a violinist would hold a violin between his shoulder and his chin. He pushes all the buttons on his D-pad with his chin, and he steers with his left hand. So it's absolutely amazing that he's able to achieve this level of skill with a physical handicap. It's truly crazy that he's been able to do this. And when I first casted him, I knew that he was playing with one hand going into the cast. I knew that. And I expected, as I'm sure many of you did, like myself, that he must be the smartest, most strategical, most incredible 1v1 IQ player of all time. But then getting into the lobby, I find out actually he's insanely mechanical. And I thought maybe there's got to be something that's difficult to do when you're playing Rocket League with one hand. There has to be something that you can't do to the same level as players playing with two hands. Apparently not. There's no discernible difference, and if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't know. You genuinely would not be able to tell. He is in trouble here though. Oh, what a flick by Mawkzy. Here's another thing that he's a specialist at. It's the accuracy of his flicks. Look at the delay on this one as well. Made Ashllxyy think twice about his pre-jump. And then as soon as he second-guessed it, the ball's fallen over his head. Steely, thanks for the 10-month prime, and also Hassel3 with the 8-month prime. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Where have you guys got this one going? Have we got a channel point prediction up yet? If not, then I'll put one up for the next game. Obviously, okay, there we go. Predictions have started. So obviously with the current scoreline, I wouldn't be surprised if more people think Mawkzy are going to win. Oh, he almost saved that. Check this out by Mawkzy. Ashllxyy did a pretty good job. He jumped over the bump and then got the shots on target. And I think it's only the spin of the ball, actually, that kept that one out. This is live. These aren't replays. This is a live game. As you can see by this menu, you don't get that menu in a replay. So far, I think Mawkzy is looking cleaner mechanically than the first time we saw him, and he was playing extremely well from a mechanic standpoint in the first series and the only other series that I casted of him. But now I think he's playing at a more efficient level, more smooth with his movement. But Ashllxyy might have a goal here. Yes, he does. Easily, in fact, after landing on him with the demo. Tie game. I mentioned Mawkzy's ladder rank earlier. Somebody in chat confirmed he's 13th at the moment in the ladder. And I think Ashllxyy is somewhere in the 20 to 25 range. So he's lower rated, but that didn't stop him against Drally. He was lower rated than Drally as well. I mean, most people are lower rated than Drally. But I think he's right now sitting at number 3 behind only Jack and Khaled. But it's pretty good that the scoreline leveled out there as you guys are making your predictions. Makes sense. Another delayed flick. This time Ashllxyy's up and in the way of it. The difference between Ashllxyy's defensive strategy on that save and the previous one is that on that one, he dove in. He didn't shadow, and it worked out wonderfully. Now we get to see Mawkzy on the receiving end of the exact same shot, and he's suffered the exact same result as Ashllxyy did the first time that he faced it from Mawkzy's POV. You guys are giving England predictions, England-Denmark predictions? I think it'll probably just be another 2-0 for England or something. They haven't conceded in the entire tournament, have they? Oh, Mawkzy actually went for the side boost there. That's definitely a mistake positionally. He was not close enough to the boost to start that maneuver. Ashllxyy trying to bump him off that one again. It's gone in the way of the player playing the safe strategy. This time Mawkzy with the early goal. So Ashllxyy's play there is he's trying to bump Mawkzy off the boost. He's trying to bump him far to the right of the boost, and then he can snag it himself. Maybe just go for the ball if it's preferable. But it didn't work out at all. That did though, and Ashllxyy's up by 1 again. Strong kickoffs being fired in one direction then the other. Rally RL, thanks to the 9-month tier 1, not Prime. Everybody else subbed for Prime, but not you. And Holy Tears as well with the 3-year tier 1. Welcome back, man. I really appreciate that. Mawkzy narrowly misses a shot off the back wall of Ashllxyy. He knows he's got a boost advantage here, so he's not giving Ashllxyy any space to work with. He's staying near the ball. Ashllxyy will want to do likewise. In fact, he might be building up for a big save. Not gonna happen. Oh my, Mawkzy just deletes him with the pop bump this time. Actually throws a little extra touch, so it is an air dribble, I suppose. Ashllxyy was between 2 mines there. He had half a mine to lunge into his own goal and play for the in and out save. Then he decided at the last second, no, I better not do that. It's a bit too obvious. Mawkzy will be able to react to it, and he's right. Mawkzy would have been able to react to that. But of course, he's between a rock and a hard place. You stay on the ground to cover the low shot, and then Mawkzy just pops it and demos you. So tough position for Ashllxyy there. So we head up to an overtime in game number 1. Mawkzy just wants a 50-50 right now. He needs to get some time to grab boost. He's got it. He had to concede possession to do so. Ashllxyy with a high flick into the boost steal. He's playing the long game, but Mawkzy's had brilliant boost management here. I know he's got a lot more than I think Ashllxyy expected. Look at the control. Oh my goodness. Mawkzy has spun 180 degrees and lobbed it. How on earth does he control that so well? I'm actually speechless. I don't know how to describe this shot. The fact that he's kept that under the bar, I mean, you guys all know what a backflip flick will do to the ball. Those can hit the ceiling. And he's actually just lobbed it gracefully, and now he's actually bumped Ashllxyy into a pull shot save. And that should be the game. Mawkzy flicks it over the incoming challenge, and he's double touched it off the post. I don't think he meant to do that. What a clutch finish by Mawkzy. This guy's flicks are crazy. Absolutely crazy. And it's the way that he controls them that really impresses me, because for a while, I think everybody who was primarily using flicks as their main form of ground game in offense, they were going for power. It was always power, power, power. Power to the top corners, and even just power from the halfway line, launching it over the defender before they can get back to their goal. But now we actually see Mawkzy, he's delaying the flick. This is more of an old-fashioned style of flicking, where you hold onto that flick until the very end of the dodge timer, and then once the defender's committed, you hit it past them. I'm going to be so interested to see if he can keep this up, because I've said it many times in the past, and I'll say it again. Flicks have been something that have deteriorated throughout series. Precise mechanics are difficult to execute for the entirety of a best of 5, especially if it goes to Game 4 and Game 5. And I think it probably will, based on what we just saw. There's 2 resets for Ashllxyy, and he wave dash and a goal. How on earth are you supposed to defend that? 2 resets on the ball. He fakes a third one, air rolls around, and chips it into the crossbar and into the net. 1 goal to the good in 10 seconds. That's just so creative, so devastating. Ashllxyy's missed a wall wave dash there. He's trying to chain a couple together to get to the ball quickly, and he's missed it. And that reminds me actually of something Ashllxyy once told me when I asked him on a podcast, or he was a guest to myself and Smellsworth. I asked Ashllxyy, so, well, first of all, I referred to what I told you guys earlier. I expected him to be more of a positional player. Then I saw, actually, he's incredibly mechanical. I had to ask the man himself, is there something that you cannot do when you play Rocket League with 1 hand instead of 2? And he said, well, actually, it's quite difficult to wall dash. And I thought what he meant by that is it's quite difficult to wall dash at all. But then he actually expanded on that and said, well, what he meant is it's quite difficult to wall dash 10, 20 times in a row. Usually he's able to pull off the chain wave dashes very easily on the wall. So he's got extremely high standards for himself, is what I learned from that conversation. Because if that's what you're complaining about, if you tell someone, yeah, I'm really having problems with some aspects of my Rocket League game, and you know, once I reach that 10th, 11th wall dash in a row, it becomes a little bit, you know, tiring. I think he actually said it gets tiring because remember he jumps with his chin, or he presses the jump button with his chin, and he said that it gets tiring because his chin gets tired, or his chin muscles, or his jaw muscles, or whatever it is that you need to use. Don't ask me, I've never done it before, but that to me is just one of the most amazing things that I've ever heard in a gaming context. What a flex. What an absolute flex. He didn't mean it though, by the way. He's very humble, extremely humble person, extremely humble player. And yes, he was born with 1 hand. Jealous, he was born with 1 hand. I think it's his, I've forgotten it again. I was going to say, I think it's his left hand, but no, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think he's got a left hand, but I got really confused because the first time I watched his stream, I think his camera was mirrored, so it was well, it was flipped horizontally. Yeah, I think he's got his left hand. Yeah, he definitely does. He does have his left hand because that's the side of the controller that has a joystick. Figured it out. Well, we're gonna get another close game here, but Ashllxyy is usually the player trailing in these 2 games. You just got here, this guy's so good for having 1 hand. Yes, he is. That's a true statement. You're not wrong. But also, he's just good across the board. Like, he's just straight up good. And that's one of the things that I love the most about Ashllxyy is he's not competing against you know, other players with 1 hand. He's not looking for people with the same circumstances as him. He's just calling out everybody. He's just taking on the best of the best, and he's taking series off everybody in the game at the highest level. Massive respect to him. Truly an inspiration. But he's up against it today. Mawkzy has shown us a different level of flicks, even compared to his first series that we casted of him on the stream recently, when he played against Rally. It's a good attempt at the bump there by Ashllxyy, but he's been caught out of position, not for the first time in this series. Mawkzy up by 3, and I think he's going to be quite good at holding on to leads. Oh, that's brilliant. Look at that touch by Mawkzy. He just played he played Ashllxyy so well here. Waited for Ashllxyy to commit, and then as soon as he saw the jump, he just lightly taps it over him. These elegant touches from Mawkzy are really quite something to behold. Bringing back the finesse to Rocket League. And I think this is probably one of my favorite things about Rocket League 1s. Oh, that's it again, isn't it? Mawkzy, he slots an impossible angle reset shot. You don't get this kind of thing in other game modes. Look at the placement. Look at the shot selection. What a goal by Mawkzy. That's as good as any of the flip resets we've seen from Ashllxyy as well. Both players have really brought their A game. Now Ashllxyy closes the gap by 1. There's still a long time left in this game. The comeback is absolutely possible. Ashllxyy, once he gets his offense rolling, is an extremely difficult player to stop. Hey OSM, thanks for 40 month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel, man. How you been? Mawkzy used to be your Smurf's name in ones when you got Rocket League? Really? No way. Well, this guy's just... he's the real Mawkzy, I guess. How old is Mawkzy? I believe Mawkzy is 15, but I might be wrong on that. Anybody know? I think Mawkzy is 15. I know Ashllxyy's either 15 or 16, because he was 15 recently. I think they're both 15. Which means that I am their combined age. Their ages combined. Wait, he's 14? I'm older than both of them combined. It's happened again. This keeps happening more and more, and I realize right now it's going to happen more and more the longer I keep doing this. Like, the longer I cast Rocket League ones, the more often I'm just going to be straight up older than both of the players combined. I don't think it happened before this year. This year is the first time that we've had like multiple 13, 14, 15-year-olds all becoming amazing at the game at the same time. It's awesome to see though. I want to say it again. Ashllxyy can come back here. We've seen so many goals this game. But look at the clock. That's over 2 minutes. 4 goals in 2 minutes is very easily doable in 1v1. It all starts with a kickoff, and Mawkzy's got a great kickoff, so it's not going to be easy for Ashllxyy. He's not been able to establish kickoff dominance. Mawkzy almost put another one in. 10 goals in under 3 minutes against Ashllxyy, especially these days, is an incredibly impressive feat, because I've been watching Ashllxyy's progress recently, and his evolution as a defensive player has been, I think, the most impressive aspect of his game. Even from his very first Showmatch that I ever saw, and even the first time I saw him play, he was really good in attack, but it's the defense that was lacking. Now, he's not really lacking the defense as much, and he's really been improving in that regard, really been grinding and focusing on that aspect of his game. So the fact that Mawkzy's put 10 past him, it really just shows how efficient Mawkzy is with his creation of shots. Now Ashllxyy's muscled one in here, just forcing an own goal, I believe, because I don't think that touch from Ashllxyy's in fact going in. Let's take another look at it. I think he's maybe hitting the post here. Yeah, he is. So he actually would have been hitting the post, but he knew that Mawkzy would flip into the ball, and he's forced it in off Mawkzy's car. That's brilliant by Ashllxyy. He's got control here. Mawkzy completely undeterred by Ashllxyy's presence though. And Ashllxyy has kept control, and he's within 2. And this was a really well played exchange by both players. Mawkzy nearly forced Ashllxyy off the ball, and I think that awkward position that Mawkzy put himself in would have fooled the majority of opponents, but Ashllxyy saw exactly what he was trying to do, and now he's got him on the goal line. Early dodge necessary. He had to jump into that one. Mawkzy's got an open net here. Ashllxyy on the wrong side of the ball. He's let another one in, and that's a bit of a cheap goal to be conceding when you're down late in the game. Hey, King Spectre, how's it going, man? And welcome to everybody else just tuning in to the One's Showmatch tonight. These two are definitely top tier at the moment in Europe and indeed the world for 1v1. Mawkzy's done well here again. He threatens the demo, forces a touch out of Ashllxyy, and then he takes control of the ball, knocking precious time off the clock, and he spawns near post. And the only RNG in Rocket League has ruined Ashllxyy's offense on this play. Oh my goodness, Mawkzy's pinch had a lot of power on it. Not quite on target. And Ashllxyy's still going for this, because he knows all he needs is one goal, a kickoff goal, and a play on the ball. And he's got the goal! With an outstanding rebound. Air dribbles it. Has to windmill down into it to get a touch late as possible. And like I said, if he could just get a kickoff goal here, he is in the game. And he's gone for the big win. That was an attempt to just score directly from Ashllxyy. Mawkzy's not going to let it happen though. Credit to him. He is just way too consistent from the center circle. But I like the strategy from Ashllxyy. Because Mawkzy's probably thinking in this position, there's a good chance Ashllxyy tries something cheeky. There's a good chance he tries a delayed approach. And maybe Mawkzy switches up his kickoff strat to counter whatever he's thinking Ashllxyy's going to do. But actually what Ashllxyy did was a very standard kickoff strategy. The good old-fashioned variation that Scrubkiller used to dominate with way back in the day, where you just go extremely goal side of the ball and then flip on the inside. You can often score direct goals like this if you catch your opponent flipping in the wrong way. So Ashllxyy gave it a go there. He went for a kickoff strategy that can yield immediate goals, and that's what he needed, an immediate goal there. Possession is probably not a guaranteed thing to work with only 12 seconds left. It would be a bit of a toss-up. Didn't get it though, because Mawkzy, just too good. 2 games in a row. Ashllxyy leads a reverse sweep. I still think Ashllxyy will probably get a game here. So he had a good bit of momentum there, but oh my goodness. Mawkzy has hit him with another ridiculous flick. How many does this guy have? That's crazy. Air rolling backwards in the setup. Gets his car moving in the right direction. And now Ashllxyy really has to play so consistently. The one mistake that he made early on in game 2 is that he was giving away too many cheap goals. And even right at the end, I think he gave away 1 or 2 cheap ones. And that is a cheap goal from Ashllxyy. He's getting a bit too close, trying to force bad touches out of Mawkzy. But I don't think that's the strategy against what Mawkzy's doing. Mawkzy hasn't really been going for heavy hits. He's not been playing the ball aggressively. He's been very careful with his touches. He's been very precise with his possession. So usually the counter to precision is brute force. It's just getting in the face of the player who's got the ball, demoing them, taking a challenge, just trying to disrupt them in some way, not faking challenges and hoping that they hit it hard away from themselves. Mawkzy's control is so good. Ashllxyy thought about trying to tie this one with an immediate kickoff goal. And also an early flick. I think he should have this. Oh no, he's decided to turn around and go for the bump, and actually that might have been a good idea because Mawkzy was right on that. Clean beat from Ashllxyy though. Boost advantage pays dividends. And he has equalized inside the first minute. No, yeah, OSM, Mawkzy played against Drally. He was winning 2-1, and then Drally leveled up and beat him in game 3 and 4. But it was a great series. Both players looked incredible in that. I think, as far as double debuts go, I think that was probably the best I've ever seen. Mawkzy and Drally. In fact, it was definitely the best I've ever seen. If we're talking best, maybe not the greatest, because you've got to take time and what era of Rocket League players are playing in if you're talking greatest. But as far as highest level double debut, I think Mawkzy Drally is definitely it. Mawkzy trying to get his first Showmatch win on my channel. I'm not sure if he's played any Showmatches on anyone else's channel. This wouldn't be Ashllxyy's first win though. He's had quite a few now. Really made a name for himself. Drally saying Mawkzy's garbage. Yeah, see, Drally probably wants Ashllxyy to win because it makes him look better, right? Although you could have a bit of a love triangle going on with Drally beating Mawkzy, Ashllxyy beating Drally. Now if Mawkzy beats Ashllxyy, they've all rock, paper, scissored each other, and I guess that means they'll have to run it back again. 3-2 in favor of Mawkzy. Again, it's that control. He's putting the ball in positions that he can get to first, and not allowing Ashllxyy clear openings to attack. You know, if we do consider the Mawkzy, Ashllxyy, Drally matches as one group, Mawkzy would actually win it here. He would win the little group if he sweeps Ashllxyy, because he took 2 games off Drally in a loss. Drally took 1 game off Ashllxyy in his loss. Now Ashllxyy's about to get none against Mawkzy if nothing changes in the next 2.5 minutes. It's a great chip clear by Mawkzy. It's not giving Drally, or not giving Ashllxyy, sorry, clear look, but Ashllxyy's found one regardless, and he puts it bottom corner. Confident shot by Ashllxyy. Didn't want to wait any longer. He just went straight for this with not a lot of boost left, so you've got to think if Ashllxyy gets the post there, probably a goal for Mawkzy. Oh, he's really beaten that one though. Ashllxyy, he knows Mawkzy might slow roll him, so he had to start coming back home. I don't think that's what he meant when he's written it's 100% coming home in his name. I don't think he was referring to his own goal as home there, home base. Although it's a good way to think about the goal. If you're new to Rocket League, that's your home base. When you're out of position, head back to the goal. Start from there. So if you're between your goal and the ball, they have to get past you to score goals. No, Drally, sorry, I didn't ego you, mate. I'm just multitasking here. Don't worry, we'll run it back. I already said we might need to run back the little love triangle that's developing before our very eyes. Mawkzy and Ashllxyy and Drally. When do we rematch? He's eager. Drally's always eager for the rematch. Oh, what challenge by Ashllxyy. Oh, he's not hit hard enough though. Again, Mawkzy's just going for the slow plays. His control has been phenomenal. But think back to what I said earlier. How do you beat a player who's trying to control the game and play like this? You have to go faster. You have to force the game to be played at a different pace. And Ashllxyy hasn't done this. He's not been able to increase the pace. It's been all Mawkzy controlling it. If you look at the series of Drally versus Mawkzy, you'll see a very different story. Drally was really forcing the game to be played a lot quicker there, and it was Mawkzy who was having to play at Drally's pace. Now, that being said, I think Mawkzy did a pretty good job playing at Drally's pace. This isn't the only gear that he's got. He can absolutely go quickly. But this is great to see. Another style coming out of the one scene. And I was talking a bit earlier about, one of the things I love about ones being the slow plays and the controlled plays. Another thing's got to be just the styles that you get to watch. We're seeing two very different players here with their own shots that they prefer to take in attack and their own preferences for defending. Mawkzy's just had full control in the midfield, especially in this game. Almost every touch he's making on the ball puts it in a place that he can get to, and Ashllxyy can't. Ashllxyy looking for a quick goal infield. He notices that Mawkzy's missed the boost and adapts perfectly. Dunks it in with a low 50-50 because he saw that the boost was whiffed, and that means that Mawkzy's not going to be able to really power through that challenge in the same way that he would if he did have the boost. 7-5. Ashllxyy with a high wave dash recovery and a goal out of it. I don't think Mawkzy's getting this. And we've got another very close game with Ashllxyy making a comeback late on in it. He probably wishes he didn't have to make comebacks. He'd much rather be leading all the way, but here we go again. Ashllxyy this time forces the ball to the outside. You'll remember that when he was trailing by one in the last game, he went on the inside. This time he's gone on the outside, and he's the one who comes away with the ball. He's got more time at his disposal here, and he's used that time brilliantly. Ashllxyy opens up a great angle for himself. Mawkzy moves in because he doesn't want to get hit by a massive hook shot, and Ashllxyy cuts it past him. Both players trying to counter the maneuvers that each other are making, but it's Ashllxyy who's had the better plays in the closing stages. And again, the wave dash kickoff is doing work for Ashllxyy. He's got another goal. Mawkzy might be time to switch it up, man, because the standard approach just isn't working right now. Will we see Mawkzy delay his kickoff? That is how you counter someone who's going for consistent wave dash recoveries. It's worth mentioning though, had he done it on that one, Ashllxyy actually went for a standard kickoff. The mind games are just continuing to flow as the kickoffs continue late in the game. One more chance for Mawkzy in regulation. Pre-jump save by Ashllxyy to deny the near post volley. And now he's just looking for the ground, and he's going to get it here. Ashllxyy takes the third game and sends us into a fourth. Reverse sweep still on the cards. Mawkzy has, like I said, got other gears he can go to. This isn't his only style that he's capable of. We've seen ridiculous mechanical ability from him as well in the past. What we might see from him in Game 4 is more of an aggressive defensive approach instead of giving Ashllxyy space and letting him attack. And the second thing that I'm almost certain we'll see, if he knows how to do it, is a delayed kickoff. Because the delayed kickoff is phenomenal against a wave dash recovery kickoff. There it is again. Ashllxyy has the wave dash on the landing, beats Mawkzy to the ball. This kickoff is netting Ashllxyy so many possessions, and he's converting the majority of those possessions into goals. Mawkzy's got to switch it up. He can't keep getting on the receiving end of these. I don't know if he knows how to do it. He's got the wave dash recovery of his own though. I mean, this is a way that he can level the scales. He can balance this aspect of the match by going for his own version of what Ashllxyy's kickoff is. Another pre-jump save from Ashllxyy. He's reading the flicks a lot more successfully now than he was earlier on in the series. And he will tie it. Ashllxyy on the wrong side of the ball. Just like the last few games, he's given away a bit of a cheap goal in the early stages. Yeah, what would you guys prefer? If you had if you're up against a wave dash recovery kickoff, you can either do your own wave dash recovery kickoff and then it's a 50-50, or you can do the counterplay, delay the approach. I think you got to go for the delay at least once. You've got to do it at least once, if for no other reason, just to show Ashllxyy that you might do it at any time. Leave kickoff and go for boost. Yeah, you could do that as well. Ashllxyy actually did it already this game. Totally viable strategy on the diagonal spawn, going for boost on the kickoff. It's amazing because I remember one of the first Rocket League streams that I watched back in 2015 was Lachinio, and he was playing 1v1, and on every kickoff he went for the boost, and it seemed to be working. And I thought, that's ridiculous. That's one of the most smart things I've ever seen. He's actually leaving the kickoff, going for boost, and then the other player hits the ball to him, he's got the ball. What a genius. But then we found out that it's actually not the smartest thing to do, because the other player might not hit it at you, he might just dribble, and then you're in big trouble. So for a long time we didn't see that kickoff being viable, just ditching the ball for boost. It became like a relic of the ones meta, just stopped being a thing. And then I think it was probably about a year ago it came back, people started doing it, and it was part of, I thought it was a mind game, I thought they were throwing it in there as a mix-up. And now we're seeing it more, which would indicate that it's not a mind game, it's actually a viable strat that you can do even if your opponent expects it. And I do think, like every kickoff in ones, it does have a counter. If the opponent gets around the ball, dribbles it back into their half, then they just have 100 boost to your 100 boost, except they have the ball as well. So obviously that's a winning position. If you've got the ball, the opponent doesn't, you're in the better position. So it's no kickoff strategy in ones is perfect. No kickoff is immune to counter strats. And that's why I think it's so interesting watching what players decide to go for these days in a world where so many are possible. I even saw one from Joria's in a recent AppJack Joria's 1v1 video on apparently Jack's YouTube channel. Definitely check his channel out if you haven't before. Joria's went for, I think it was a half flip kickoff, or I guess you would call it a reverse half flip, on the straight spawn. So when both AppJack and Joria's spawned completely center behind the ball, Joria's, I believe what he did is he just did an inverted half flip where you front flip, cancel the flip, air roll, you land in reverse, and then he drove back to his net. And AppJack was thinking, what on earth is this? What is that strategy? And it was really trippy as well, because when you flip like that, your nameplate moves and it looks like you're coming to the ball. A really, really cool strat. Now, I'm not talking about the strat where you slide into the ball on the back of your car. I'm not talking about the one where you just cancel your flip. That's not a half flip, that's just a flip cancel. It's done from the same spawn, where you front flip, flip cancel, slide into the ball on your bum. That's a different strat. But the one I'm talking about, he actually just inverted half flip. So again, so many strats in ones. If you're someone who thinks that ones is just about kickoff goals, well, you're partially right, because there are a lot of kickoff goals. But there's always a reason why that kickoff goal has happened. There's always a mind game element, and the players have so many ways that they can switch up what they're doing to counter those things happening again and again. We're not in the old days where you used to see the exact same kickoff goal 4, 5, 6 times in a row because nobody knew what to do against it. Nowadays, everybody knows what they should be doing against various strats, and they're able to adapt. Hey, that was a pretty crazy save by Mawkzy. I don't know how he managed to keep that one out. We're in another tense game here. Mawkzy might be about to take the lead. Mind game on Ashllxyy, who got a piece of the ball, but not much. And Mawkzy will take the lead with 1 minute and 41 remaining. Are there any more Vintage Rally soon? I've not recorded any, but I will definitely be asking Drally to come back on for more show matches if he wants to play more. I think he was in chat just a few seconds ago saying he does. And Ashllxyy will tie it, and it's again from that same kickoff. Both players are trying their version of this, but Ashllxyy seems to be a bit better on it. You'll notice the reason that he's able to force his way through that is because he's actually getting a really good contact on the ball. When you do the wave dash recovery kickoff, you want to almost hit the ball upwards slightly. Not too much. You don't want to turn your car into a ramp that just turns or sends the ball flying over your head. You need to jump up and hit it just under the center of mass so that you can get that bounce onto your car and recover more quickly. So if the ball hits, well, if you're hitting the ball upwards, the ball's going to hit you downwards with the recoil. You're going to get back onto the ground more quickly. Yeah, I think Drally asked if he could get a rematch. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's very late. Mawkzy's in France right now. I think it's 1 in the morning. I know Ashllxyy is heading to bed after this series because he's got school tomorrow. It's midnight in the UK. So we'll probably have to do it another day, but we'll see. Open net for Ashllxyy. Slots it. All off the demo. And Mawkzy was just a sitting duck for this one. He'd flipped already. Ashllxyy knew exactly where he's going to be. And with nowhere to go, Mawkzy helplessly fell into the demo. 5-4. It's actually just hilarious that both players are going for the wave dash recovery over and over. I really expected somebody to do a delayed kickoff at some point, because when you delay your kickoff and the opponent single jumps into the ball, they just pass the ball to you. It's not a heavy hit like a dodge. It's just a little dink on the ball. I mean, for the wave dash recovery kickoff to work, you need the opponent to hit the ball hard into you. So, like I said, the ball knocks you down into the ground again, and you can recover quickly. But if you do a delayed version, you can actually just chip it past him. I've seen it several times. Ashllxyy might be sending us into game 5 here. Mawkzy's got no boost and no way to get his hands on the ball. Of course, Ashllxyy is going to send us to game 5 in style. Why hit the ball into the ground when you could just hit it into the goal with another double touch? I suppose the advantage of this one is that if he does miss, it's probably going to hit the floor, so he's got the security of the game 5 anyway, but my goodness, that is just something else. We have gone to game 5, as I expected after seeing how close game 1 was, but this is not the way that I expected it to happen. I did not expect Ashllxyy to need to make these kind of comebacks with such consistency, but game 4, we had a bit of a different story to it. Ashllxyy had a lot more control, and again, I'm going to say it, Mawkzy's got to go for the delayed kickoff at some point. He should have a long time ago delayed his kickoff just once, because then Ashllxyy's going to be so afraid of going for his #1 kickoff strat for this series. But that's really impressive from Mawkzy. He's been so good with the flicks all series today. But he's also picked up on the fact that Ashllxyy's starting to read his flicks very well. That was the delayed kickoff for Ashllxyy there, ladies and gentlemen. And he might be getting a goal off of it. We'll have to wait and see how confident he is. No, Mawkzy's saved it. And now we're going to get a goal for Mawkzy to make it 2-0. But, I mean, you saw it there. Ashllxyy had the play on the ball and actually got, I think, quite unfortunate that it went that high in the air. That's pretty random. I think it hit Mawkzy a second time. But it is actually Ashllxyy who switches it up first. Both players trying to counter each other's strong points. Oh my goodness, that is just comical. If you showed any Rocket League players this kickoff in like 2015, they'd think that they're watching 2 bronze players. They'd think, oh bless, these guys don't know that you can dodge into the ball. But this is actually the highest level of 1v1 in 2021. Oh, that's amazing that we've come to this. I do want to give credit to Mawkzy again for a brilliant mind game earlier, because when you've been flicking all game long, the mind game becomes a bit more deadly. The opponent's more likely to just go slightly more high on their challenges, slightly more high on their pre-jumps, and maybe slightly more high on their air dribbles. Ashllxyy scores in the first minute as well. You know, the silver lining to all these large deficits that Ashllxyy's had to come back from is at least he is conceding all the goals extremely early in the game, so he's got tons of time to come back with. Will we see more mind games from Mawkzy late in the game? You know, whereas flicks are something that tend to deteriorate as the series continues, mind games are not. I think mind games are most potent in a game 5 when everybody's second guessing themselves. Everybody's got so many different games of evidence to read each other off, and that's when you start to overthink things. But this isn't an overthinking play. This is Ashllxyy over hitting the ball massively into the crossbar. Mawkzy saw where that was headed, didn't even have to jump, and ends up scoring another one on the counter. Ashllxyy's picking up a free possession from that same kickoff that I mentioned. He's been one step ahead on the kickoffs the past few games. He got the series to swing back in his favor. Great shooting by Ashllxyy, aerial shot past the pre-jump. But remember, it's Ashllxyy who really started to use the wave dash recovery more to beat Mawkzy's solid standard kickoff, and then it's Mawkzy switching to the wave dash recovery just to match what Ashllxyy was doing. Now Ashllyy's the one who did what I think Mawkzy should have done. He's the one faking, and he's got it past him. Oh, what a save. We're gonna get to watch it again because Ashllxyy scored. Mawkzy denies a point-blank range double by nearly getting a post pinch, and that's a bit unlucky, to be honest. He must have thought that was going to go somewhere into the middle of the pitch, but it's actually just gone right behind him. He didn't get a solid enough contact. Mawkzy messed up his wave dash in the landing there, and that's going to give the boost to Ashllxyy, and Ashllxyy, with all the boost, will score to tie the game. Oh, Mawkzy, what other kickoffs have you got in your back pocket? Because right now you desperately need them. Matching Ashllxyy is not good enough. You've got to go one better. I think it might be too late. Like I say, he should have probably done it ages ago. But you know, it's better late than never. It's better late than never. Ashllxyy powering through now. He's completely taking control of the kickoff game here, and he's the one who's switching it up. He's not just satisfied to keep doing the same thing over and over again and wait for Mawkzy to figure it out, to figure out the solution to the problems that Ashllxyy's throwing at him. No, he's the one who's switching again and then again and again. He's the one who's adapting constantly and becoming impossible to predict. And Mawkzy actually gets one back here, and this is perfect. We get to see the rock, paper, scissors. So what did Mawkzy just do? He just did a standard kickoff. What did it beat? It beat the delayed kickoff. So there's your rock, paper, scissors, ladies and gentlemen. The wave dash recovery can beat a standard kickoff. It can't beat a delayed kickoff, but what beats the delayed kickoff? Well, the standard kickoff. So who comes out on top is really just down to who can read the opponent more effectively, and even who can see what their opponent's doing ahead of time. Mawkzy, air dribble bump, and he's back in it. Look at the clock. Both players outrageously efficient with their offense. Both scoring 6 goals in just over half a game. We've come full circle. We're right back to both players doing standard kickoffs here. And Mawkzy drills a low shot to take the lead. Remember that when both players were playing standard earlier on in the series, it was Mawkzy who had the edge. Even got a celebratory demo there. Ashllxyy swings the pendulum back into his side. Heavy first touch, but he's still got control. This time Mawkzy doesn't lunge in. Stays with it. And he was ready for that cut-in field. That's a move that Ashllxyy used, I believe, in game 4. It worked the first time. Ashllxyy's thinking about a reverse dribble here. Has to flip around because he was losing control. And he's missed the shot. Doesn't get the rebound through Mawkzy's defense either. And he's going to go for a flip reset. I don't think that angle's even possible for someone as good as Ashllxyy, though. That was just so much work to do. Mawkzy's beating him, but it's a miss. on the open net, and that flip actually told Ashllxyy he had time. He heard Mawkzy leaving the scene, and now he's the one who's tying the game. Is that a mistake from Mawkzy? That dodge, it does secure the mid boost, but it also told Ashllxyy, you've got time, you've got space, you can take a few touches. And he used those touches to set up a shot that's just too hard to save. Oh my, Ashllxyy's just cut him in line. I thought an Englishman would be better at queuing than this. He just barges in. he just skipped. He skipped the line. The Brits are supposed to be pretty good at lining up for things, but Ashllxyy has gone completely against the grain here. You know, that's that kickoff goal there. That's exactly the kickoff goal he was trying to score in Game 3, if you're wondering what it was he was trying to do. He got it in Game 5. I think he'd actually rather it in Game 5 here. Oh my, Ashllxyy! Flip reset, wave dash dunk on the underside of the pre-jump. And you can't really fault Mawkzy too much falling for this one, because it was pretty convincing from Ashllxyy. The setup did look like it was going to go high into the net. As soon as Ashllxyy saw Mawkzy committing to the back wall, he knew that the low shot would be deadly. 3-goal lead for Ashllxyy, make it 4. Mawkzy caught out of position, expected Ashllxyy to make a beeline for the wall. He's, of course, so well known for his wall plays. Ashllxyy just sees exactly where he's headed, and we are getting a reverse sweep here in Ashllxyy's favour. You know, he told me before this series that it's getting pretty late in the UK, but it's fine, I'll just sweep him. I didn't know he meant reverse sweep, and I also don't know how that helps him get to bed early and be ready for school tomorrow, but we'll take it. Definitely a good script, and Mawkzy will be devastated, but I don't think he could be too disappointed with how he's played. My one criticism, I've said it a few times already, but I have to keep saying it, is that he didn't switch the kickoff soon enough. If he'd just thrown one, I think just one, delayed kickoff in there, that would have stopped Ashllxyy from going for a wave dash kickoff every time. Because he really was doing it every time for a while there. You can't let your opponent do that. You know, even if you don't think what you're doing is going to work, it's sometimes better to do it anyway. Even if you don't think your lunging challenge is going to work, sometimes it's better to go for it just to show your opponent that you are willing to lunge in sometimes. They don't have the luxury of backing off or of dribbling the whole pitch. Yeah, Mawkzy wasn't able to throw that one in there. He might not have practiced it. It's the only thing I can think of. He might not have a lot of practice with that delayed approach. It can be very awkward. It's a very precise thing, because you don't want to delay too much, because then it's obvious, and you don't want to delay too little, or else it doesn't work. So it's a very, very precise strat, and although it doesn't look very mechanical, you're just driving up and stopping, it is still something that needs practice. But GG's, Ashllxyy, unbelievable, multiple comebacks, and the execution in the closing stages, game after game here, has proved to be too much. He says it's coming home. I'm telling you. Well, we'll find out tomorrow, Ashllxyy.